Hi, how are you, everyone? It's been a while since we've done nails together, and so I thought I'd bring you along as I do my nails, and we could chat about my confessions as a minister's wife, mom, business owner with chronic illness. Last week up on the blog, that's what I talked about, and I really felt like making a video about it too. And we haven't done nails in a while, and I missed it. So I thought I would do my nails while we chatted and while I told you some of my confessions as a minister and ministry wife with chronic illness. Today I will be doing some glue-ons. I usually either paint my nails or I use like nail strips, like Color Street, or a couple of small businesses I found on Etsy, which are gorgeous. But this time I'm using the Kiss acrylic petite size French tip set, glue on nails. I recently discovered how wonderful glue-ons are, and I really like putting them to good use to keep my nails looking decent. So they've pretty much been prepped. I'm going to buff them one last time. And then we're going to get right to it. So I've been really struggling recently with some of the opinions that I've seen going around about disability and chronic illness in the church. And it's really got me thinking, like, as other moms, other wives, other ministers out there struggle with chronic illnesses and trying to keep their head above water. If you've been around here, you know we talk about fulfillment in chronic illness and motherhood and creativity and businesses and ministries. And so I thought it might help other people relate to know that sometimes things are just different. So sometimes we just have to make admissions of things. We have to tell people what's really going on for us at the root of everything. And so with that, here are 10 confessions of life with chronic illness as a minister or a minister's wife. Now, some of these might feel a little more like discoveries, but I try to put them in terms of like a confession or of like something not only that I've learned, but that I'm admitting to everybody. So the first one, the first confession and the first thing that I've kind of figured out as I'm living this life with chronic illness is that sometimes my faith has been tested more than I ever imagined. Faith has always been easy for me, and honestly, like, this just made it's brought up questions, it's brought up conversations, and so my faith has been tested more than I ever imagined. And sometimes I really do teeter on the edge. My notes are over here. I do teeter on the edge of like just throwing in the towel. And this is especially true of like times when so one of my illnesses is PMDD, which is not just a major form of PMS, but it is its own category in the DSM, and it really does mean that there are things that just are not right. It usually leads to despondency and hopelessness, and not just the physical symptoms. Excuse me, my cat is trying to invade our space. It doesn't just lead to the physical symptoms of PMS, but some other mental health symptoms as well. And sometimes when that happens, I do teeter on wanting to throw in the towel, either of business, of ministry, of everything sometimes. And so I want you to know that if you feel that way, you're not alone. Like if your faith is tested through chronic illness, you're not alone. Um, so the next, the next thing is that church just looks different now. So, you know, church kind of changes through different seasons of our lives anyway. And this is going to go with the next confession. But church just looks different now from the times that I just am simply physically unable to attend in person to we've moved halfway across the country and now I'm trying to, you know, establish new church connections. Church just looks different. And as you're going to see in the next confession, church isn't always the kindest place to those with chronic illness and disability. There's just a lot that the church could do better, which we're going to talk about in a second. And so it just looks different now. My thoughts about church look different. What church is, what it does, what it serves, what functions it serves in the community, it's all a bit different now. And so that's something that I struggle with. And I think a lot of people who develop chronic illnesses do struggle with. I think I'm not the only one. And so it just looks a little bit different now. So does my idea of interacting with the church, of church attendance, of what a small group looks like, of what fellowship looks like. It's all a little bit different based on my life now. And that leads me to my third confession. The church as a whole has just failed the chronic illness and disability community. I know there's a lot of people out there who would disagree. And that's why I said on a whole, I think our theology around illness and disability has just been faulty. And that does not lead to a safe space for those of us that have chronic illnesses and disabilities. And so I want to do better, and I know that my husband wants to do better in the church that we're planting. We want to be more inclusive and make sure that people know that they have a place to belong. That's important to us. That's important to me. But that has not always been the case in the Western church. I can't even say just the I can't even say just in the American church, but in just the Western church overall, the theology around the sins related to our illnesses is just a little faulty. And because church looks different, because I feel like the church has not served the disabled and chronic illness community well, I do strive to do better. I do strive to have a better theological understanding of this kind of pain and suffering. If you've ever read C.S. Lewis, The Problem with Pain, or Grief Observed, you'll see just this different ideology. Same with Brennan Manning's Ragamuffin Gospel, or basically anything that Brennan Manning writes. The man wrote beautifully in regards to just human conditions, sin, pain, suffering, struggling, addiction. Beautiful. I recommend C.S. Lewis and Brennan Manning highly, highly, highly. And so my next confession, I think we're on confession 4, is that I struggle with expectations. This is a really big one for me. I really do struggle with what I expect of myself. I have always been a high achiever, an overachiever, if you will. I've always been one to want to do everything well. And I have always struggled with that. And so altering my expectations, learning how to manage those expectations, altering my expectations for myself as well as the people around me has been really a big deal. And I always encourage the women in my membership, as well as I, constantly have posts about this on Instagram, but we have to manage our expectations. We have to shift them and alter them to fit the reality of what's happening for us. And I struggle with that. So even though I'm a proponent of it, even though I think it's an important thing to do, I struggle. I have a hard time in that regard. So something like we absolutely have to adjust when chronic illness comes into our lives is our expectations. If we don't, we will not feel like we're living fulfilled lives, and we won't find a way to do that. And so we have to manage those expectations. And so that's a key element. Oh no, we'll have to reglue that one. So that's number 4. Number 5. Oh dear, that was too much. Okay. Well, it's fine. We'll make it work. We will make it work. That's why I'm glad these have tabs on them. All right. Number 5, I struggle with ideas around food and feeding my family. It's so hard when you don't have energy, when there's so many messages that says if you are not feeding your family all organic, if you're not feeding your family all raw foods, you can't have any processed foods or convenience foods, which I recently talked about this on Instagram, but we have to be okay with convenience foods. We have to change our ideas around foods. And convenience foods can be as easy as like buying the pre-prepped vegetables or fruits for the week. So like vegetables that are already cut up, vegetables that are pre-packaged, buying fruits like that are already in like those little fruit salad containers, or buying, frozen foods, canned foods, things like that. Like there's so much surrounding food and mom guilt, and it really gets a struggle sometimes. Like if I'm going to feed my kids frozen pizza, but with fruit cups and a vegetable on the side, I should be okay with that because my kids are still getting nutritional value, and I've done what my level of energy can do. And sometimes that mom guilt just overtakes me, and I know I'm not alone in that. And so I want you to know, moms watching this, that you're not alone in that either. It doesn't make you lazy. It doesn't make you a bad mom. This is especially true for those people that live in like food deserts where it's just hard to get access to good food anyway. Like, we have to change the narrative around how we feed ourselves and our families. Like that just has to change. So yeah. So my next confession, which I honestly don't know what number I'm on right now, but this ties into the food thing. The idea of Maslow's hierarchy of needs makes so much more sense now. I studied it in school and it made sense to me. Like, yeah, you have to have food in your belly, you have to have shelter, you have to have clothes. Your medical needs have to be met if you're going to try to reach for something higher. And since I do work with clients around living fulfilled lives, it really makes more sense even for me. If I am not taking care of myself physically, I don't care about reaching self-actuality. I don't really care about those higher level like needs or desires, because I'm just trying to make sure that I am fed. I'm trying to make sure that I get enough sleep. I'm trying to make sure that we have, rent paid or what have you. So chronic illness actually leads not only to the fact that you might be having health struggles, which Maslow says needs to be taken care of, but you might be having, you know, money struggles, financial struggles because you can't work, or, you know, you're in a tough season because you have a lot of medical bills or whatever the reason. And it's just reminded me like how truly like Maslow just kind of hit it on the head with his hierarchy of needs. Sorry, she doesn't really like it when I film. And she doesn't like it when I teach either. She wants to be part of the attention. Poor little kitty. So that's the next one. I have to be willing to just do my best when my pain is at a level 8. The other day, and even today, like being able to film this is kind of phenomenal because of the level of pain I'm in right now, and just how truly gross I feel. But I have this desire to build the life that I want and be there for other women in my position. And I also have to remember that even though we joke about mom's needs being met, mom's needs have to be met if we're going to care for our families. Mom has to be fed. She has to be sleeping. She has to be taken care of if she's going to take care of the family. And I think that's something that we often like forget about, and we joke about it and we say, oh yeah, you know, mom's gotta, you know, mama needs a nap or whatever. But it's true that if mom is not being taken care of, she can't take care of the family. And so that just puts Maslow's hierarchy of needs into perspective. That's why even moments like this where I sit down and I do my nails, which are now nicely done. I love these little petites because I like short nails. But they look so cute. And I like having options. But that's why we have to do things like this. We have to practice self-care. We have to do things that help make sure we have our medical needs taken care of. We're taking our medications. We're taking our supplements if we have them. We are doing self-care. We are asking for help when we need it, because chronic illness is not easy to deal with. Sorry, she just moved the tripod. I apologize. And so we have to be able to do that for ourselves, or we're not going to be able to do it for our families. And that's been a really hard lesson for me. As someone who's really independent, as someone who just likes to, who's used to just being able to take care of myself, that's been a hard lesson to learn. And so that's really important. I think we're on confession number 7 now. So confession number 7, this is not going to be a surprise to anyone who's been following me for any length of time, but rhythm is more important than balance. I don't think balance exists. I think it's a myth, because balance is between two things, and you don't just work and live. You work with all these tasks that go on, and you live with all these tasks that go on. You have multiple roles than just employee and life. You have a mom, wife, business person, employee, whatever it is. So rhythm is more important than balance. And rhythm is the ebb and flow. When we look at rhythm in conjunction with harmony, what makes our lives be harmonized, that's where we find our cadence, hence the business name of Soul Cadence. And so each family, each person, their rhythm is different than everyone else's. When I have women in the membership and I work with clients, we work on establishing a rhythm that's right for them, because my rhythm is going to look different than someone else's. Like, we've settled into a place where Michael just got a new job and I'm home with the kids, and I do work during nap time, which is where I'm filming this, if I can. If not, then we find another way. So last week I did mostly writing stuff where I didn't have to be on camera because I was so sick, and I just couldn't make myself even look remotely presentable, which today I would say I'm only remotely presentable. So we we have to find the rhythm that works for us. If you're in ministry, you find the rhythm that works for your ministry, that works for your people, and that works for your family. When you're running a business, it's the same thing. You find the rhythm that works for your business, for your family, and that's more important than balance, because that's where harmony and cohesion are going to come in. So my confession is rhythm is more important than balance, and balance doesn't exist. Number 8, desires make a difference. Dreams don't just end because we get chronic illness and we have days where we can't get out of bed. They just change, they alter. You find new ways of doing things, or you let go of old dreams and establish new dreams, but desires are important. And if you don't truly desire to live a fulfilled life, you're just not going to. You're not going to get there with yourself. And if I want to live a fulfilled life, if you want to live a fulfilled life, we have to keep dreaming. We have to keep moving towards goals. And desires are the only things that keep that moving forward. So, number 9 is sometimes I don't set myself up for success. I really don't. We need to set ourselves up for success. That's important for those of us with chronic illness. That means having the things that you need to do tasks easily accessible. Our kitchen is not really set up for me to be able to help my husband with the cooking and the dishes and things like that. We just haven't had a chance to find what works for us in that regard. And so I don't always set myself up for success. I try when I come to the living room in the morning to have my work stuff close by where I need it. I try to make sure that I have my heating pads, my wrist compression gloves, or my wrist braces, depending on the day. I try to make sure that I have what I will need. And when my husband, on the weekends, we're trying to set it up so he dices things up for me or cuts fruits and vegetables for me. I talked earlier about prepackaged. We buy a lot of fresh, and I try to have him cut them for me because it saves money. And we didn't do that this week. So I didn't give my kids fruit with their lunch today. They had vegetables, they had meat, they had cheese, they had lots of stuff, but we didn't really have fruit because I don't have it in me today. They will with dinner. They will have fruit with dinner because my husband will be helping with that. But what setting yourself up looks like for success looks like for you is different than for me. So like I said, for me, having my work stuff near me so that when I put the kids down for a nap, I can just come, settle in, do some work, or making sure that before my husband leaves that I have a full water and rice bag or heating pad next to me, that the kids have had their breakfast so that I'm focusing on lunch and dinner. And but what that looks like for me is going to look completely different for you, because my family's needs are going to be different than your family's needs. And I have 2 toddlers right now, so we have a lot of needs around here. So we have our living room set up so they don't have to go back and forth to their bedroom for diaper changes and things like that. Our living room is where we do all of that. We have a special routine for bath time, and the confession is that sometimes I just don't set myself up for success. Today was one of those days. Last night we just had too much going on to do the prep, and I ended up ordering us Chipotle for lunch. So they got plenty of vegetables, plenty of like other good healthy things, but no fruit. So the last one, and this might be the biggest one. This might be one that's really hard, especially since I am in ministry, and we have this idea of people in ministry that they have to be on all the time. They have to be available all the time. I need to be alone sometimes. And sometimes I need to be completely alone. Like, hubby, take the kids out of the house. I need to know that I'm the only person physically occupying the space that I am in. Sometimes I need that. Sometimes I just need to be alone, as in I need to go in another room or what have you. And I've been that way my whole life, but now that I am dealing with chronic illness, it gets worse. And some days I just feel like I need to be alone. Now, some days I can't be alone because Michael works and I stay home with the kids. But I try to utilize nap time to the best of my abilities and things like that. And sometimes I just don't want to talk to people. Even if I'm going to church, I don't want to talk to you. I just want to go in. I just want to worship and I want to leave. And sometimes the struggle to want to be alone hinders my ability to even leave my house or interact with my community. And as someone who's in ministry or who runs a business coaching other women, that can be difficult sometimes. And I am learning what the rhythm of my life is that helps me utilize my alone time to best that it can be so that I can be available when people need me to be available. And that's not to say that I don't have boundaries and that I don't see the importance of setting those boundaries, but I also do see the importance of when you are in ministry, you do have to be on at a certain level. Or when you are in business helping others, you do have to be on at a certain level. But if we follow Jesus' example in scripture, even he took his time to be alone. He took his time to recharge. He took his time to actually be in spiritual connection with his Father. And we have to do the same. So those are my 10 confessions as a minister's wife, as a minister, as a mom, as a person running a business. And as another note, like, you have to know when, going back to expectations, you have to know when things are going to shift. You have to know maybe it'll look different in this season of your life than it would otherwise. Because if we are going to live fulfilled lives, which we absolutely can do with chronic illness, we have to know how to alter some of those things, how those things are going to look different. We already know that my load, when we actually start bringing people into the church plant, my role is going to look different than we thought. But we're also not throwing in the towel. We're not giving up, even though there are some days where I'm like pushed to my limit, or like I see how the church is treating certain things and it really gets to me. It really irks me. I will be talking soon about the ideas of deconstruction and reconstruction and faith in the church, and what that looks like, not for leaving the church, but for like deepening your understanding of who God really is in just history and in modern church. And so today I was supposed to start a new web class. It's actually going to start tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday. I'm running a web class in my Facebook group about living fulfilled. And it's all about those rhythms and those creative ways that we can find fulfillment while dealing with chronic illness. So, and that will run more than just once. This is just the first time that I'm opening it up. And also on Friday, the doors open to the membership. Like, they officially open right now. I just have a few ladies in there. But if you're a mom with chronic illness and you're trying to figure out how to do it all, whether you're in business or in ministry, or you want to figure out what to do next, I do have a membership opening, a monthly membership, and that will include opportunities for one-on-one coaching, monthly group coaching, book clubs. It'll include community. We have a great platform that we're on that allows for community and connection. And so those doors open on Friday. And if that sounds like something you're interested in, you can reach out to me on Instagram or on Facebook at Soul Cadence Coaching, and ask any questions you might have, or when the doors open, I will come back and put a link in the description when the doors open, and you can sign up for that. And there's a 1 week free trial for that membership. It's it's just launching. Everything's getting started, but that'll be there available for moms with chronic illness, wanting to live fulfilled lives, wanting to have that support, have resources for motherhood and business and ministry and all of that stuff, because I really feel like that's important for us and we need that connection. Eventually, for those that are interested in writing or sharing their story in some kind of creative manner, there's actually going to be a course inside the membership available, called the Cadence Creative Academy, and that is in the works. That will be launching this fall within the membership. And so that's for anyone who's like, well, I do want to be creative, but I just don't know how to start or where to go. For those in the membership, that course will be launching, and that's what it'll be all about. And so as you see moving forward, this channel will be about living creatively fulfilled in motherhood and chronic illness. We're going to talk about ministry, motherhood, chronic illness, living a fulfilled life, all of that. I'll have more nail videos. I will have more chat with me videos, more draw and chat with me videos. That's just what you're going to find here. And I'm wanting to build this as a community for those of us with chronic illness, those of us who are moms, who are pastors or ministers, those of us who are pastors' wives, those of us who are business owners or who want to start businesses or who have always wanted to be an artist or a writer or a YouTuber, and we don't know how to work that in with chronic illness, with flares. That's what you'll find here on this channel. That's what you'll find over at the blog. That's what you'll find in the membership, that level of support, of camaraderie, of understanding. So yeah, with that, my next video up should be a draw with me video. I don't know the topic yet, but that's okay. It'll be a draw with me video. And thank you for listening to my confessions and being with me as I did my nails. They're so pretty now. Like, I love it. This is like the perfect size for me. I didn't even have to trim them down or anything. That's the ones I need to get more often. And they're just so pretty. I love French tips. So, but the next nails I do are actually going to be darker and longer. And I am so excited, because I love dark nails too. So, with that, I bid you all a farewell, and I hope to see you again around this channel, around the blog, over on Instagram. That's my online home. It's in my Instagram. And if the membership sounds like something you're interested in, I hope to see you there very soon. Again, doors open Friday, so if you're watching this before July, I don't even know what the date is for Friday, and I'm recording on my phone, so I can't look it up, but today is July 19th when I'm recording and posting this, so 20, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. So after the 23rd of July, 2021, membership doors will be open. Yeah, it'll be great. I'm not sure of the pricing at this exact moment. I want to say that it's $35 a month, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. So with that, I bid you all a farewell, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. If you want to touch base with me before then, find me on the blog, find me on Instagram, and let's build a community here so that none of us have to go through this alone. Bye for now, friends.